The air crackled with anticipation, a sea of red hats bobbing in unison. Former President Donald Trump, a master showman, was in his element, feeding off the energy of the crowd. But the cheers were soon replaced by screams, the festive atmosphere dissolving into sheer panic. A gunshot, then another. Chaos erupted as people scrambled for safety, unsure of where the shots were coming from. Secret Service agents, their training kicking in, formed a protective circle around the former president, hustling him off the stage and into a waiting vehicle. Law enforcement officers, their weapons drawn, quickly swarmed the area, securing the perimeter and searching for the shooter. As the dust settled, the focus shifted to identifying the individual responsible for this brazen attack. The FBI soon had their answer: Thomas Matthew Crooks, a 29-year-old man with a troubled past and a history of run-ins with the law. Neighbors described him as a loner, often keeping to himself and rarely interacting with others. The FBI uncovered a history of mental health issues and a string of petty crimes, but nothing that would suggest a propensity for violence of this magnitude. The investigation into Crooks' background was just beginning, a complex puzzle with missing pieces. In the aftermath of the shooting, the FBI meticulously combed through the scene for any shred of evidence. They found crucial clues: the gun used in the shooting, spent shell casings, and the shooter's cell phone. The gun, a 9mm Glock 19 handgun, was discovered a short distance from the stage. Initial analysis revealed that the gun had been legally purchased by Crooks just weeks before the rally. The discovery of Crooks' cell phone was a major breakthrough for investigators. Forensic experts worked tirelessly, carefully extracting data from the phone, hoping to find answers that could help them understand why Crooks had chosen to commit such a heinous act. As the investigation unfolded, one question remained: why? What drove Thomas Matthew Crooks to attempt to assassinate a former president? Crooks' background, while troubled, offered no obvious clues. He didn't seem to fit the profile of a radicalized extremist, and there was no evidence to suggest he harbored any strong political beliefs. The lack of a clear motive was both perplexing and unsettling. The investigation was ongoing, but the lack of a clear motive continued to cast a long shadow over the case. The shooting at the Trump rally sent shockwaves through the nation, not only because of the act itself, but also because of the target, a former president. The Secret Service, tasked with protecting the lives of current and former presidents, faced intense scrutiny in the wake of the attack.
How had someone been able to fire a gun at such close range to a former president, even if no one was injured? The agency launched an internal investigation to review the events leading up to the shooting and assess whether there were any security lapses. Questions were raised about our response time, our communication protocols, and whether we had adequately assessed the threat before moving the former president. Our agents acted swiftly and decisively to remove him from immediate danger, and their actions likely saved his life.
The shooting at the Trump rally was a stark reminder of the volatile political climate in the United States and the very real threat of political violence. It underscored the deep divisions that continue to plague the country, exacerbated by inflammatory rhetoric, the spread of misinformation, and the rise of extremism. The incident raised serious questions about the safety of public figures, particularly in the age of social media. The ability to engage in political discourse without fear of violence is a cornerstone of a healthy democracy. The incident served as a wake-up call, underscoring the need for greater vigilance, increased security measures, and a collective effort to address the root causes of this growing problem. It also highlighted the responsibility of elected officials, community leaders, and citizens alike to tone down the rhetoric, bridge divides, and foster a climate of civility and respect. The shooting at the Trump rally drew unsettling parallels to the January 6th attack on the U.S. Capitol. Both events, though different in their immediate contexts, share a disturbing common thread that cannot be ignored. Both events were fueled by a toxic mix of misinformation, distrust in democratic institutions, and the normalization of violence as a means of achieving political ends. This dangerous cocktail has been brewing for years, exacerbated by social media and partisan news outlets that amplify divisive rhetoric.
The January 6th attack saw a mob of Trump supporters fueled by false claims of a stolen election, stormed the U.S. Capitol in an attempt to prevent the certification of Joe Biden's victory. This unprecedented event was a stark manifestation of the deep-seated anger and disillusionment that has been festering within certain segments of the population. The attack, which resulted in multiple deaths and widespread damage, raised serious concerns about the rise of extremism. It was a wake-up call, signaling that the threat of domestic terrorism is real and present. The shooting served as a chilling reminder that the forces that fueled the January 6th attack are still present, simmering beneath the surface of American society. These forces are not isolated incidents, but part of a larger, more troubling trend.
The parallels between these incidents highlight the ongoing challenges facing our democracy and the urgent need for a comprehensive approach to address the rise of extremism. It is imperative that we recognize these warning signs and take proactive steps to heal the divisions that threaten the very fabric of our nation. In the aftermath of the shooting at the Trump rally, the spotlight turned to the role of political rhetoric in inciting violence. The tragic event raised urgent questions about the power of words and the responsibility of those who wield them.
Many pointed to the increasingly divisive and inflammatory language used by some politicians and commentators, arguing that it created a climate of hostility and intolerance. This rhetoric, they claimed, not only deepened political divides, but also emboldened individuals to act on their worst impulses. Critics argued that the constant demonization of opponents, the spread of conspiracy theories, and the normalization of violent language had created a dangerous environment. They warned that such a toxic atmosphere could lead to more incidents of violence and unrest. They pointed to instances where politicians had used violent metaphors or encouraged their supporters to fight like hell as evidence of this dangerous trend. These examples, they said, highlighted the urgent need for a more responsible and measured approach to political discourse.
While it is difficult to draw a direct causal link between words and actions, there is no doubt that language matters. Words can inspire, but they can also incite. The impact of language on behavior and the consequences of communication cannot be underestimated.
The shooting at the Trump rally underscored the responsibility of elected officials, community leaders, and citizens alike to choose their words carefully and reject violence as a means of resolving political differences. It served as a stark reminder that the words we use can have real-world consequences, and that fostering a culture of respect and understanding is crucial for a healthy democracy.
The shooting at the Trump rally presented a profound challenge to the United States, testing its commitment to both free speech and public safety. The incident ignited a fierce debate about how to balance these fundamental rights, with some calling for stricter gun control measures and others emphasizing the need to protect First Amendment freedoms. Finding a path forward required a nuanced approach that acknowledged the complexities of the issue. In the wake of the shooting, there were calls for greater accountability for those who incite violence, whether through their words or their actions. Others emphasized the need to address the root causes of extremism, such as social isolation, economic inequality, and the spread of misinformation. The shooting at the Trump rally served as a stark reminder of the fragility of American democracy and the importance of safeguarding the institutions and norms that underpin it. It highlighted the need to strengthen the guardrails of democracy, to protect the right to free speech while also ensuring the safety and security of all citizens. One crucial aspect of strengthening democracy involved addressing the spread of misinformation and disinformation, both online and offline. Another important step was to promote media literacy and critical thinking skills, empowering individuals to discern fact from fiction. Strengthening democracy also required addressing the issue of political polarization. The shooting at the Trump rally was not merely an isolated incident, but a symptom of a deeper malaise afflicting American society. The widening chasm of political division and the increasing acceptance of violence as a legitimate form of political expression. This event highlighted the urgent need to address the underlying issues that have been festering for years, issues that have now reached a boiling point.
It was a moment of reckoning, forcing the nation to confront the uncomfortable realities of its own making. The incident served as a wake-up call, urging citizens and leaders alike to reflect on the path the country has taken and the consequences of ignoring these deep-seated problems. The roots of this division ran deep, fueled by economic anxieties, social and cultural shifts, and a political system seemingly incapable of addressing the concerns of ordinary citizens. These factors combine to create a perfect storm of discontent and division, leaving many feeling alienated and unheard.
The rise of social media, while connecting people in unprecedented ways, also created echo chambers where individuals were exposed only to information that confirmed their existing biases. This phenomenon exacerbated the divisions, making it increasingly difficult for people to engage in meaningful dialogue and understand differing perspectives.
Addressing these deep-seated issues required a collective effort, a commitment from individuals, communities, and institutions alike to bridge divides, rebuild trust, and reaffirm the shared values that underpinned American democracy. It called for a renewed focus on empathy, understanding, and cooperation, recognizing that the strength of the nation lies in its unity.
The future of American democracy depended on the choices made in this moment of reckoning. The path forward would not be easy, but it was essential for the survival and prosperity of the nation. The decisions made today would shape the legacy of tomorrow, determining whether America could overcome its divisions and emerge stronger.